Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitaya Sachinandana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Jai Vishnupat Paramahansa Prajapacharya Shtotra Shatashi Srimati Srivan Grace Srilai Sivati Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Varuna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Mudali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishnarnamastu Krishna Matirastu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. So today we are going to read Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 9, which is Rajavidya Rajaguhya, which is a confidential knowledge. Chapter 9, texts 31 to 34, and then it will actually complete chapter 9. So that would mean we are halfway through Bhagavad-Gita. So out of the 18 chapters, we'll have finished the 9 chapters there. So these verses are really very beautiful verses in terms of deepening our relationship with Krishna. So it is important to understand these verses in that way. So if you look at 9:30 that we discussed last week, Krishna was mentioning about api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabha sadhu eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. So that was the last verse where Krishna was talking about someone. It was a little bit of a controversial type of verse because Krishna was saying that someone might be doing sudurachara. Durachara means bad activities. Sudurachara means very bad activities. So unfortunately, someone might be doing very bad activities, but the important point to notice there is the bad activity is not being done with an intent of actually causing harm to someone. It is being done because of the frailty of human nature. Because human nature is such that until and unless we are in a liberated state of existence, there is always this chance of falling down. The falling down, what does fall down mean? Fall down means doing something that should not be done as part of the dharma. So actually, one can actually fall down in the path of adharma. Unfortunately, that is the nature of this material world. So until a person actually reaches that space of enlightenment, pure love for Krishna, which is totally anyabhilashita shunyam, it is called, without any other desire except to love Krishna. So that is the highest stage, and very rarely one attains that stage, right? So until that stage is attained, there is always this chance of fall down. That means because it's pulled, just like we have the gravity, in the material world we have gravity, which is always pulling a person to the ground. Similarly, there is this material energy of the Lord that is Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avarnatmika Shakti. These are the two energies of the energy of the Lord. Prakshepatmika means it is kind of pulling down, and Avarnatmika means it is covering. So these two are the potencies, and that is having an influence on us because we are under ignorance. We come under ignorance. That is what is called Ajnana. Avidya. Avidya is lack of knowledge, which is ignorance. So when we are susceptible to ignorance, these energies of the Lord has an influence over us. The Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avarnatmika Shakti. And because of that, someone can fall down. And Kṛṣṇa says, even though the person is falling down, because that person has got bhajate mam ananya bhak. So the person is ananya. Ananya is extremely important. Constantly trying to remember me. Bhajate is loving devotional service. Because that person is trying to do that, I consider him as a sadhu. Kṛṣṇa says, I consider him as a saintly person. Even though from external perspective, the world might consider that person as a fallen down person because he was not able to live up to that standards of purity. But Kṛṣṇa says, I consider that person a sadhu. Why? Because the important thing here is the trying. The trying is taking place. See, you can take two categories of people, right? One category of people, we are totally in ignorance and not even knowing anything about our original nature, which is eternal. Like we are never born, we will never die, we will never have old age, and we never have disease. It's to the body, it's not to us. So there is a certain category of people who would never have this understanding. They'll be totally sealed from that understanding somehow. So they are in a totally different category. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradama. Kṛṣṇa says, the dushkriti, people who perform impious activities, sinful activities, they never come to me. So Kṛṣṇa actually categorizes, he uses very strong words. He says, Modha, Naradhama, Maya, Paratagyana, Asurim, Bhavamashita. Very strong words Kṛṣṇa uses for them. Modha, unfortunately foolish. Naradhama, lowest among the mankind. Maya, Paratagyana, their actual intelligence has been taken away by the material energy. And Asurim, Bhavamashita. They are totally of a demoniac kind of nature. So you got this kind of people, and then you got this kind of people, four kinds. Sukriti, who are pious people. They are Artho Jignasu Artharthi Jnani Cha Paradarshana. The person in distress, the person who wants knowledge, the person who wants wealth, and the person in knowledge. Inquisitiveness. So you got these four kinds who are pious and who understand the significance of our original eternal nature and our relationship with Kṛṣṇa. So this kind of people, at least they are trying, and they are falling down. But because they are trying to get rid of their ignorance, Kṛṣṇa says, I consider them a sadhu. They might fall down, just like the example that we give is that a child learning to walk. He tries so many times, keeps falling down, and then suddenly one day comes, they start walking and running around, right? Exactly in the same way. One might fall down many number of times, but the important thing is to get up and start walking again. Not consider that fall down as something that can never be overcome. So it can always be overcome. So that's why Kṛṣṇa, if we look at this particular verse now, let's read this. So that was a prelude in terms of what we did last week. 30, now 31. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma.
Kshipram bhavati dharmatma.
Shashvachantim nigacchati.
Shashvachantim nigacchati.
Kaunteya pratijanihi.
Kaunteya pratijanihi.
Name bhaktah pranashyati.
Name bhaktah pranashyati.
The word by word. Kshipram.
Kshipram.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Bhavati.
Bhavati.
Becomes. Dharma Atma.
Dharma Atma.
Righteous.
Righteous.
Shashvat Shantim.
Shashvat Shantim.
Lasting peace.
Lasting peace.
Nigacchati.
Nigacchati.
Attains.
Attains.
Kaunteya.
Kaunteya.
O son of Kunti.
Son of Kunti.
Pratijanihi.
Pratijanihi.
Declare.
Declare.
Na.
No.
Never.
Never.
Me. My. Bhaktah.
Bhakta.
Devotee.
Devotee.
Pranashyati.
Pranashyati.
Perishes.
Perishes.
translation is, he quickly becomes
He quickly becomes
righteous
righteous
and attains
and attains
lasting peace.
lasting peace.
O son of Kunti,
O son of Kunti,
declare it boldly
declare it boldly
that my devotee
that my devotee
never perishes.
never perishes.
So it's a continuation, right? So in the last verse, Krishna was talking about that sometimes the person might fall down, but because they are continuously in relationship with me, I consider that person as a sadhu, as a saintly person. Now he's continuing in this particular verse, he's saying that why I consider that person as a sadhu. It is a continuation. Why? Because Kṣipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Kṣipram means very soon. Bhavati, he becomes. Dharmatma, he regains his original pure nature. So, one of the important things to understand here is that purity is our essence. Like each and every one of us, we are eternally part and parcel of Krishna. So, everyone is pure. In that sense, everyone is pure. When we identify ourselves with the external body and the external mind, then all the problems arise. Until then, there is no problem. Because person very clearly knows that all this external things is just external. That is not me. So this aham brahmasmi, there is a Veda Vakya. Aham brahmasmi means we knowing that we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Tat tvam asi. There is another Veda Vakya. That means thou art that. What does this mean? That is eternal. So we are all eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamano sharir. Krishna says this in chapter 2. He says to Arjuna that the original us na jayate. Jayate means we are never born. Because we are never born, we never die. Na mriyate va kadachit. Kadachit means at any point in time, we are never born and we never die. So, if that is the case, then why is it that, in this material existence, we are so much, the whole point of this material existence is, what is the reason that I have got this particular material body? The reason is because in my previous existence, I had material desires. And to fulfill those material desires, I need to have material body. If I have material desires, to fulfill them, I need to have material body. Similarly, if my desires are only spiritual, only in relationship with Krishna, then I will not get any material body. Then this is what Krishna says: Janma karmam cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvata tyatva deham punarjanmam neti mameti swarjuna. Krishna says, someone who knows that my birth, janma and my karma, my activities are divya, divine, tattvata. Tattvata means in truth. In truth means experientially. It's not. See, we can know things theoretically, and we can know things, we can try and understand it theoretically, and we can try and implement it practically as well. And then there comes a time when our existence itself becomes experientially situated in that. So that is tattvata. That means when one is 100% in that experience of knowing that Krishna's birth and Krishna's activities is divine, Krishna says, Tyaktva deham punarjanmam naiti. He says that after I give up this material body, I do not get another material body. Then what happens to me? Mameti so Arjuna. Krishna says, such a person comes back to me. So this is Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuto govindam adipurusham tamam bhajami. So it is mentioned in Brahma Samhita that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in his Goloka Vrindavan Dham. That is the topmost spiritual planet where the Lord is engaged in his eternal pastimes. So, Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Api. It is mentioned in Brahma Samhita that Katha Ganam. Katha means any kind of talk is like a song. Any kind of walk is like a dance. And Vamshi Priya Sakhi. The flute of the Lord is his Sakhi. So it's an eternal pastime. In an eternal body which has no birth, no death, no old age, no disease, and this is our original nature. But somehow or other, since time immemorial, it has no beginning. When the ignorance started, there is no beginning to when the ignorance started. But the end of ignorance is in our hands. We can end the ignorance through knowledge. What is this knowledge? This knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita. And so when Krishna is saying here, Kṣipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigacchati. So when we are starting in this direction of understanding Bhagavad-Gita, that is the beginning step. So when we take that step, the Lord within the heart, He is there as Paramatma. He's Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishta Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanamcha. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, I am in the heart of all the living entities. From me comes Smriti, Jnana and Apohan. Knowledge, remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Smriti is remembrance, Jnana is knowledge and Apohanam is forgetfulness. So, if in our heart, if as a living entity, so we are all individual living entities, as a living entity, if I have even an iota of desire to engage in devotional service, Krishna will encourage us to go on that path. Somehow or other, all the situation and everything will come in such a way that we will be able to engage ourselves in the loving devotional service of Krishna. So this is His costless mercy of the Lord. So that is why He says that. So here, if you look at it, Shashva Chantim Nigacchati. So someone might have fallen down, but Krishna says that very soon they will again get up. They might have fallen down, they will get up again, and they will proceed with more determination, with Utsaha Nishya Dhairya. So there is a Upadesh Amrita that is written by Srila Rupa Goswami, who is one of the saints of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's era. He gives what are the different qualifications for devotional service. So Utsaha Nishya Dhairya Tattat Karma Pravartanat Sato Vritte Janat Sanga Janat Yada Shadadhi Bhaktir Pranashyati. What it means is, what are the things that gives power to bhakti? The first is Utsaha, enthusiasm. Dhairya, Utsaha, Nishchaya is determination. Enthusiasm, determination and patience. Dhairya. Tattat Karma Pravartana. Tattat Karma Pravartana means, for example, we are engaging in this activity. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So we are hearing about what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing His pastimes. So this is Tattat Karma Pravartana. And then the other thing is, not trying to not be influenced by the material energy of the Lord. So these are all, when these things are very strong, we have enthusiasm, we have determination, we have patience, then this is what is helping us to inculcate the loving devotional service for Krishna. Actually, all these things are natural. It is the most natural thing for us. But somehow or other, because there is so much covering, it feels very strange. In the current contemporary context, if people are engaging in the devotional service, sometimes people are not interested. And this is actually the nature of the Kali Yuga as well. We are in the Kali Yuga. So it says about the Prayan Alpayasha Sabhya. In the Kali Yuga, the Ayu, the age is Alpa. We don't have that much age. Like in the previous yugas, like Treta, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, the three previous yugas, the age of life was more, there was more, the environment was more conducive for engaging in devotional service. But in the Kali Yuga, it is Alpai Manda Sumanda Matayo. It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that unfortunately our minds are not purified enough. So it is a little bit dull. Whenever something about spirituality comes, our interest will not be there. But there is something else coming, we will be very much interested. We will be very much enthusiastic, determined and everything. But if there is something related to spirituality, we have become dull, unfortunately. That is the age of Kali Yuga. Manda Sumanda Mateo, unfortunate, the Mati. Mati is the mind, the mind is not purified enough. So it is unfortunate state. It is in an unfortunate state. Manda bhagya, where the fortune is not there. Why the fortune is not there? Because we have so many opportunities to engage in devotional service, but unfortunately we do not make use of that. So we become unfortunate that way. So manda bhagya, upadrita. This is a very important thing. Upadrita means always disturbed. And this is the nature of this Kali Yuga. And that the problem is that the whole identification with our mind and body. That is what is the biggest problem. Because the moment I get a particular body, like when I am born, immediately when we are born, we do not know much because our mind is not developed at all. But the moment we start growing and we start knowing things, the only thing that we understand is that I am this body, this is my parents, these are my relatives. The whole thing, so this is yasyatma buddhi kunate tridhatuke. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that if someone is thinking that I am this bag made up of bile, mucus and air, tridhatu, swadhik kalatradhishu bhaumya jidhi. From my intelligence, I am thinking that this is my family, these are my relatives, and the land in which I am born is worshipable. Bhaumya jidhi. Yet tirtha buddhi salile na kareche janeshu abhigneshu. I go to the places of pilgrimage and I take bath in the holy rivers, but I do not associate with the saintly people residing there. So the Srimad Bhagavatam very clearly states that if I am of that tendency that I think that I am this body, that everything related to my body is my relatives, whoever are, and the land in which I am born is worshipable, and I go to the places of pilgrimage but do not associate with the saintly people there, then sa eva go khara. It is mentioned, Srimad Bhagavatam says that unfortunately, even though I have a human body, but I am like a cow or a donkey. Because why? Because dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. It says, scripture says that what is distinguishing the animal species with human species is what are the common things? The common things is ahara, nidra, bhaya and maithuna. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So these four things are common. What is it that is distinguishing the animals from human beings? Dharma. What is dharma? Dharma is when I can use my mind and intelligence to understand my eternal nature. That I am not this particular engagement that I am in, but I am someone who is totally liberated always. This is our actual condition. We are in an ever liberated state. But unfortunately, because of ignorance, we do not realize it. And then we become entangled in all these daily problems that happen. This is that problem. It's not that we don't work towards solving the problems. We do that, But internally we know that I am an eternal part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa, and this is something that has been given, like I have got this because I had some desire, because of which I got this particular body. And because I have got this body, I have to face whatever is coming to this body. But it does not mean that we shirk away from our responsibilities. We do all the responsibilities, we engage in all the responsibilities, but internally we know very clearly that I am an eternal part and parcel, and this is like an instrument that the Lord has given me as a costless mercy. So the second line in this verse is extremely important. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Very beautiful lines. So here Kṛṣṇa is saying that Kaunteya means son of Kunti. So Kṛṣṇa is saying, O son of Kunti, you declare it on my behalf that my devotee shall never perish. So why is Kṛṣṇa saying you declare it on my behalf? So we have discussed this before. That is because Kṛṣṇa, when he himself is promising something, there is a chance that he might break it. Indirectly he might break it, right? So one of the very important, interesting incidents was when Bhishma said that the next day, either I will kill the Pandavas or I will die, something like that. Or Kṛṣṇa will lift the weapon. That was what he said. Either I will kill the Pandavas or Kṛṣṇa has to lift the weapon. So when Kṛṣṇa will lift the weapon, he will break the promise. Because that's what he said, when he, and it's an interesting incident as well. Basically what happens is, so Arjuna comes first. So before the war of Kurukshetra, both of them want help from Kṛṣṇa. Both Duryodhana and Arjuna, both of them want help from Kṛṣṇa. So both of them go to meet Kṛṣṇa. So what happens is, first Arjuna arrives, and actually Duryodhana arrives first. Duryodhana arrives first, and he sits at. So Kṛṣṇa is lying down. So Duryodhana arrives and he sits at the face of Kṛṣṇa. And next Arjuna comes and he sits at the feet of Kṛṣṇa. Right? So then basically when Kṛṣṇa wakes up, because Arjuna is at his feet, Kṛṣṇa sees Arjuna first. So when you're waking up, you actually look in the front, right? You don't look like this. So he sees Arjuna first. Then he sees Duryodhana, and then Duryodhana and both of them, then they say that we have come for your help. We want your help. As you know, the fight is going to happen, so we want your help. So basically, then they are asking for help. Then Krishna's because Duryodhana, he came first. He's asking Kṛṣṇa that I should have the right to ask help from you first. But Kṛṣṇa says that I saw Arjuna first, so I should actually give Arjuna his request. So then Kṛṣṇa says, no, it's fine. You ask for what you want. You either will get me as a charioteer without any weapon, or you can get my 11 Akshavani Sena, which is an amazing army of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa's amazing army. So either you can take my whole army, or you take me without any weapons. So Duryodhana he thinks he's very intelligent. So he says, of course, Kṛṣṇa is not taking weapons, so what is the use of Kṛṣṇa? so he obviously goes for the army. And then, Arjuna actually wanted Kṛṣṇa and he gets Kṛṣṇa. So it's really interesting. So why we are telling this story? Because Kṛṣṇa actually said that he's not going to lift the weapon. He's just going to be the charioteer of the person who is going to be with. So then that is what Bhishma says, because Bhishma is loyal to the throne, right? He's loyal to the Hastinapur throne. That's the vow he took for Shantanu, his father. Because Shantanu and Ganga Devi, because Ganga Devi gave this, she said that only in this condition you can marry me. And then, therefore Bhishma said that I will never marry and I will never sit on the throne. So basically, he was loyal. That was his main thing. He was loyal to the throne of Hastinapur. And Dhritarashtra was the king and Duryodhana was his son. So he was basically loyal to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So then he said that tomorrow either the Pandavas will be killed or Kṛṣṇa has to lift the weapon. So he fought in such a huge way, like unbelievable way, that Kṛṣṇa lifted a chariot wheel that was lying down in the battlefield, and he stood in front of Bhishma like this to protect the Pandavas. So indirectly he actually took a weapon there. It was not, the chariot wheel cannot be actually a weapon, but the fact that he took it up and he stood in front in defense of Pandavas was indirectly breaking his promise. So that's why this particular is extremely important here. Kṛṣṇa says here that Arjuna, you declare it on my behalf. I am not saying, I am not promising, because sometimes indirectly I can break promise, but when a devotee is promising on Kṛṣṇa's behalf, that is like an ironclad, guarantee that it will never be broken. And what is that ironclad guarantee? Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotees shall never be vanquished. It's a very beautiful shloka here. So this is the guarantee that Kṛṣṇa gives, that anyone who has started this journey of engaging in his devotional service shall never be vanquished. So it's an amazing situation that we are in. So the next verse, verse 32, can you say this? Mam hi partha vyapashritya
Mam hi partha vyapashritya
yepi syu papayonayah
yepi syupapayonayah
papayonayah Sriyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras
Shriyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras
Tepi Yantim Param Gatim.
Tepi yanti param gatim.
So word by word, Mam
Mam
of me,
of me,
he
he
certainly,
certainly,
Partha,
Partha,
O son of Pratha,
O son of Pritha,
Vyapashritya,
Vyapashritya,
particularly taking shelter,
particularly taking shelter,
ye,
yea,
those who,
api,
also,
syu,
are Papayonayah,
papayonayah,
born of a lower family,
born of a lower family,
Striya,
striya,
women,
women,
Vaishya,
vaishya,
mercantile people,
mercantile people,
Tatha,
tatha,
also, Shudra,
shudra,
lower class men,
lower class men,
te api, even they, yanti, go, param, to the supreme, gatim, destination. So translation, O son of Pritha,
O son of Pritha,
those who take shelter in me,
those who take shelter in me,
though they be
though they be
of lower birth,
of lower birth,
women Vaishyas,
women vaishyas,
merchants,
merchants,
and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination.
can attain the supreme destination.
Now this is an extremely controversial verse. And this is, I think the important thing to understand here is that we have to come back to the basics of spiritual knowledge. So, what is the basics of spiritual knowledge? The basics of spiritual knowledge is that we all are eternal. We are never born, we never die. That is the basics. So, we have to always get back to the basics. So here in this particular verse, Kṛṣṇa is saying, Mam hi partha vyapashritya. If you look at the first line of this verse, vyapashritya. Ashritya means one who has taken shelter. One who has taken complete shelter of me. Kṛṣṇa says, one who has taken complete shelter of me. Now the second line and the third line is very controversial. Yepi syu papayonos striya vaishyas tatha shudra. So basically, the people who have angst against Bhagavad-Gita might take this verse as the main verse to be critical about Kṛṣṇa and Bhagavad-Gita. But what we have to understand here is that at the end of the day, even the people, even the men, and even the Brahmin, and even the Kshatriya, and even the Vaishya and Shudra are mentioned here. At the end of the day, the men, Brahman and Kshatriya, who are not mentioned here. It is mentioned about Stri, Vaishya and Shudra. It is mentioned that. But the Brahman, Kshatriya and the men are not mentioned. That does not mean that they are totally pure. No one is totally pure. Like the reason why we are in this material world is because I have got material desires. And when I have material desires, I am not pure. So it's just the important thing here to understand is vyapashritya, that one has to take shelter of Kṛṣṇa. It does not matter, what condition we are in. Naham vipro nacha grahapatir napi vaishyo na shudro naham varni nacha. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions that I am neither Brahmana, neither Kshatriya, neither Vaishya, neither Shudra. I am neither Grahastha, I am neither Brahmachari, neither Grahastha, nor Vanaprastha, nor Sannyasi. Then who am I? I am an eternal part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. So that is the main focus that has to be kept. So everything else is external. So this is how one has to understand this verse. The people who are antagonistic, who do not have a humility, like if I have a humility, I will be okay to accept things that I cannot digest. But I will have that humility and try to understand what is being said. But if I'm in an arrogant state of mind, immediately I'll just say that, what is this? It'll hurt my ego, right? So the ego will come into picture, and then the ego is the basic reason why we are taking birth after birth after birth after birth. And because I think that I am this body. When I think that I am this body, that means I am under the influence of ego. So then, if someone is saying something about my body, I'll get hurt because I'm thinking I am this body, right? So it's the same example that we give in many of the discussions that we had as well. Like, if I think I am the car, and if the car gets hurt, I will get hurt because I think I am the car. But actually, am I the car? No. Car is just a medium for transporting me from one place to another. I am not the car. Exactly the same way, this body is, especially this human form of body, it is actually said that it is plavam sukalpam. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes the body as, the human body as a very beautiful boat which helps us to cross the ocean of birth and death. So it is nradeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham. So it is mentioned this human form of life is sulabha. Sulabha means because I have it now, I have it now, right? So it is a great asset that I have. But it is sudurlabha. It is extremely rare, this human form of life. Plavam sukalpam. So it says that it is like a very beautiful ship or a boat. And Guru Karna Dharam. And the spiritual master is like the captain of that ship. Mayanukulena nabhasvatiritam. Kṛṣṇa says that I send the winds in the right direction. Puman bhavadhiya natare. And if all these things are available, if one is not able to cross this ocean of birth and death, sa atmaha. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that such a person is unfortunately, just not using the gift that has been given to them. They are misusing the gift. Like someone has got a very precious diamond worth billions of dollars and it is in a garbage. What is the use of that billions of dollars worth of diamond? Exactly this is even more, that is just a metaphor. This is like invaluable gift that the Lord has provided us, and unfortunately it is being wasted like animals. It's so, and that's why these saintly people have so much compassion for everyone. That they are always thinking about how can the benefit happen to this wonderful gift that has been given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the way to understand this verse. It's not the way of denigrating any kind of person. No, it's not. So the Vyapashrita tepi anti paramgatim. Paramgatim. So if the two words that we have to focus on in this verse is Vyapashritya and Paramgatim. Vyapashritya means when we take shelter, and Paramgatim means we attain the supreme position. So that is this verse. Okay, so verse 33. So now Kṛṣṇa actually goes to the other, the so-called categories. Kim punar brahmana punya, kim punar brahmana punya, bhaktya rajarshayasthatha, bhaktya rajarshayasthatha, anityam asukham lokam,
Anityam asukham lokam,
imam prapya bhajasvamam,
imam prapya bhajasvamam.
So here the word kim,
Kim,
how much,
punaha,
again,
brahmanaha,
brahmanas, punyaha, righteous, bhaktaha, devotees, rajarshayaha, saintly things, tatha, also, anityam, temporary, asukham, full of miseries, lokam, planet,
Imam,
this, prapya, gaining, bhajasva, be engaged in loving service, mam, onto me. Translation: how much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary, miserable world, engaged in loving service onto me. Okay, so here Krishna is talking about the Kim Punar Brahmana Punya Bhaktya Rajashaya Tata. So he's talking about the pure Brahmanas. So the Brahmana, again, one of the things Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad-Gita, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. He says that the four Varnas, which is the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, are based on Guna and Karma. Guna means qualities, Karma means activities. Krishna doesn't say Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Janma Vibhagasha. Based on birth. He does not say the four Varnas are based on birth. Of course, there is more chance that because a person is born in a particular family, they will, because their environment is such that it is in that environment, they are more conducive to catch that purity, and then they become pure. Just like if you look at it from the perspective of, say, mother and father are doctors, there is more chance that their children will become doctors because they are seeing mother and father performing the doctor's duties, and the mother and father have got that doctor, whatever qualities are there. So even from genetic perspective or different other perspectives, there is more chance that the child will become doctor. So this is what the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is. It is the four Varnas, Krishna says, are Guna, Karma, Vibhagasha. It is qualities and activities. It is not based on just birth. Birth is one of the factors, but not the only factor. So here when Krishna is talking about the Brahmana, Kim Punar Brahmanas Punya Bhaktya Rajashayas Katha, so he's talking about the Punya Brahmana, a pious Brahmana. What does pious Brahmana mean? Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. The definition of Brahmana is that one who knows Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahman means me knowing that I am eternal. I am never born, I will never die. That is Brahman. Being in that experiential state of existence. That is Brahman. So when one is a pure Brahmana, one will see everyone with an equal eye. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gari Astini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. A real Pandita, a real person who is in knowledge, will see everyone with an equal eye. They will not, internally they will know that because of whatever activities they have done in their previous lives, they have got a particular type of body in this life. But internally, they are all eternally related to Krishna, and they are all in a liberated state. Internally, everyone. So this is the Punya Brahmana. The real Punya Brahmana will be in that state. They're never distinguishing people on the basis of their externalities. Because they know that externalities is something that is based on some activities that we have done in the past lives. And it can always be changed. Depending on what we are doing in this current moment, we have the power to change our future. Every moment we have that power to change our future. So it is based on where I am directing my desires to. If the desires are pure desires, I have to inculcate them more and I have to act on it. If the desires are not conducive for me, I should let it go. I should not give it a red carpet welcome. So this understanding should be there. So here Krishna says that what to speak of these people now. So he's saying Bhaktya Rajarshaya. Rajarshi is, Arjuna is Rajarshi. So one who has got the qualities of a Raja, a king, and a Rishi, both. So Imam Rajarshayo Vidu. Krishna says, Imam Rajashe Utsa Kaleneha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. He says that Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manue Prabha Mano Ikshavate Brave. So he says, I gave this knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita to Sun God millions and millions of years back. Then Arjuna asks a pertinent question. He says that, how you are my contemporary, how can I believe that you gave this knowledge to Sun God? He asks all these pertinent questions, not with a sense of arrogance, but with a sense of humility. This is Tad Vidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadakshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshina. Kṛṣṇa mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that what is the way of understanding transcendental knowledge? Pariprashna. One has to inquire with submissiveness, not with an attitude of arrogance that I already know everything, I'm just asking for the sake of asking. Not that. So it is really genuine inquisitiveness, genuine questioning, genuine speak up. The speak up culture is one of the important things that corporate world talks about. It's a genuine speak up, where it is not with an attitude of trying to be a great person or something like that, but with humility. Pariprashnena sevaya, one renders service to the Guru. Then upadakshanti te jnanam. It says the Guru then gives the knowledge. How the Guru is giving the knowledge? Jnaninas, because the Guru has got that knowledge. And tattvadarshi. Guru is in an experiential state of existence in terms of that knowledge. So then that knowledge, so it's an interesting, I think there is one story about a boy going to a saint and asking that, a mother going to a saint and saying that my child is eating too much of sugar or chocolate or something, and you advise him not to eat chocolate, and then the saint says that you come after a month and then I will advise him. Then it comes after a month and asks the same question. Then he says that don't eat chocolate. Then this mother asks that, why did you ask me to come after a month? You could have said it at that time. Then the saint said that I asked you to come because I wanted to stop it first. So then what I say will have an effect, right? So this is that experiential kind of situation, right? The Guru is always in that experiential state of knowledge. Because of that has an effect on the people, on the disciple who is inquiring from the Guru. So this is so Kim Punarvamanas Anityam Asukham Lokam. So the second line here is very important here. The nature of this material world is anitya. Anitya, not constant. It is constantly changing, right? Every moment my cell is changing, my thought process is changing, everything is constantly changing. So it is anitya, and it is also asukha. Asukha means, why it is asukha? Sometimes people might say that if I have everything available, my life is going well, I have money, I have health, I have wealth, I have nice family, then where is asukha? Where is dukkha? There is no dukkha. But the real problems is janma mrityu jara vyadhi. That is, the moment I get this material body, that means I have to die. I am actually someone who never takes birth, who never dies. But I am coming in this situation where I am taking birth, and because I take birth, I have to die. And between birth and death, there is jara and vyadhi. There is jara is old age and vyadhi is disease. So this is the actual misery.
I was kicking the ball.
So the actual misery in this material existence, asukha, is janma mrityu jara vyadhi. It is the birth. Because of birth there is death, and between birth and death there is old age and disease. So this is what asukha. This is the real asukha. Not, of course, there are others as well. Like we only think from our own perspective. Because every moment there are so many deaths that are happening. Every moment there is death happening. But because they are not related to me, it has no effect on me. But actually, this is the nature of this material world. That there is padam yat vipadam. At every moment there is some kind of danger or another. Like I don't know whether the next breath I'm going to take or not. I could die the next moment. So So this is the nature of this material world. So that is why it is asukha. It is called, because I am always eternal, but I have to get this body where I am born and then I will die. So this is a real real asukha, real dukkha. So that's why Krishna says bhajasva mam. So because when we are engaging in this bhajante, when we are engaging in this loving devotional service of Krishna, we are going to a state which transcends this material existence. Now we go into a state of pure love for the Lord, which is free from all this material. That's why it's called Vaikuntha. The spiritual world, why it is called Vaikuntha is Vigata Kuntha. Kuntha means anxiety. So in the material world there is anxiety, but spiritual world there is no anxiety. Why there is no anxiety? Because there is no birth, there is no death, there is no disease, there is no old age. So how can there be anxiety? So that is verse 33. Then we go to verse 34, the last verse that we are discussing today. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi tvaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Whatever. Matmanaha. Always thinking of me. Bhava. Become. Mat. My. Bhakta. Devotee. Mat. My. Yaji. Worshipper. Mam. Onto me. Namaskuru. Offer obeisances. Mam. Onto me. Eva. Completely. Eshyasi. You will come. Yuktva. Being observed. Evam. Thus. Atmanam. Your soul. Matparayanaha. Devoted to me. The translation: engage your mind. Always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances. To me. And worship me. Being completely absorbed. In me. Surely you will come to me. This is a very beautiful verse, and this is actually ending the Raja Vidya Raja Guhya, the chapter 9. Very beautiful verse. Man mana. So the mind make it absorbed in me. So the nature of the mind is such that the mind wants to go from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. It does not want to be at one place. That is the nature of the mind. Chanchala. Arjuna actually says in Bhagavad-Gita, he says, Chanchalam hi manah Kṛṣṇa, pramathi balavad dhrudam, tasyaham nigraham manye, vayuriva sudushkara. Arjuna says to Kṛṣṇa that, O Kṛṣṇa, this mind is very chanchala. It does not stay at one place. It is pramathi. Pramathi means obstinate. And it is very determined to not stay at one place. And Arjuna says that to control it is like controlling a tornado. We cannot control a tornado. It just comes and destroys everything. So Arjuna actually says this. Then Kṛṣṇa, in reply, he agrees. Kṛṣṇa says to Arjuna that Asamshayam Mahabaho. Kṛṣṇa says, undoubtedly, and he addresses to Arjuna as Mahabaho. He says Arjuna as one who has got a very strong shoulder, a very strong person. So Arjuna is actually a very strong person, not only physically but also mentally. But he himself is saying that it is very difficult to control the mind. The person who is so strong physically and mentally in that age, in the Dwapara Yuga, is saying to Kṛṣṇa, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna is the best, is a friend and bhakta, devotee of Kṛṣṇa. So he is saying that it is very difficult to control the mind. Then Kṛṣṇa replies back, he says that undoubtedly the mind is very difficult to control. Kṛṣṇa says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manodabnigraham Chalam. But how can it be controlled? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha guhyate. Now Kṛṣṇa says that through practice and renunciation the mind can be controlled. What is the practice? Yad yad nischalti manaschanchalam astiram tatas tatat niyamyetat atmanyev vasham nahe. Krishna mentions how the mind is controlled. Whenever the mind is going to something that is not conducive for our understanding of our eternal nature, bring it back. How can I bring it back? Krishna says, I am there everywhere. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi surayo. I am the taste in water. I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the sound in the ether. Shatam khe. I am the ability in any person you see. So we can remember the Lord at any moment. There is no moment when we can forget Him. It's just a matter of bringing that practice. When we bring it abhyasa, that is what Krishna is saying. So that is what is manmana. Manmana bhava, mad bhakta, become a devotee, mad yaji. Offer your obeisances to you, to Krishna, offer your prayers to Krishna. Then Krishna says, Mame vaishyasi tvayavam. When thus you are totally absorbed in me, atmanam matparayana, you will come back to me. Because you are totally absorbed in me, yamyam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam ivaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Krishna says, whatever you remember during the lifetime, you remember the same thing at the time of death. And then we attain that in the next life. Anta kalecha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram yah prayati sammad bhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. Krishna says, at the time of death, if someone remembers me, they will attain my nature, there is no doubt in it. So this is the wonderful nature of this costless mercy that the Lord has given to us in the form of His words here in Bhagavad-Gita. And if somehow or other we can take time to go deeper into these verses and try and understand them even more and more, then we are using this human form of life in the right way. Otherwise, there is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatareshayanam, iha samsare bahudustare, kripaya pare pahi murare. So Shankaracharya says in Bhagavad-Gita that unfortunately this is the nature that constantly we take birth, constantly we die, constantly we are in the womb of one mother and another mother. So this is the samsara chakra. It's like an endless wheel of constant misery. So if somehow or other, if we can take shelter of Bhagavad Gita and the lotus feet of the Lord, then the Lord Himself gives a guarantee. You know, he actually says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. As we discussed in this in the previous verse, that Krishna personally guarantees, Tesha maham samruddharta mrityu samsara sagara bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasa. Krishna says that to that person, I guarantee that I will take them out of this cycle of birth and death. Mrityu samsara sagara. Bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasa. When the mind is absorbed in Krishna, then the Lord Himself guarantees that, you know, one will come out of this seemingly incessant cycle of birth and death. So with that, thank you very much for listening. If there is any comments or questions, we can discuss.
Just like you mentioned that Duryodhan got the Narayani Sena.
Yes.
So Narayani Sena was undefeatable. But then how it got defeated in Mahabharata?
Yeah, so the will of Lord is stronger than His undefeatable Narayani Sena. Right? So his will was that dharma should prevail. And dharma can prevail when the people who are dharmic can prevail. If adharmic people, like unfortunately Duryodhana, prevails, it will be adharma. Right? So that is the reason. And so the whole thing about yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. And Krishna says, whenever there is discrepancy in terms of executing religious principles, I myself come. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkrita, to save the saintly people and to annihilate the miscreants. Dharma samstapana arthraya sambhavami yuge, to establish the religious principles. The Lord personally comes. So So when he's personally coming, the only reason he's coming is Paritrana Sadhuna Vinashaja Vishrutam Dharma Sanstapana. The three reasons. Right? So to protect the saintly people, annihilate the miscreants, re-establish the religious principles. It's three. So that is the prime, and that is the reason why his Narayani Sena got defeated. Basically, it's a conundrum there actually, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. Like it's his own army, but basically he's fighting against his own army. It's kind of unbelievable, right? Just unimaginable. But that was the Kurukshetra war, unfortunately, where,
Like the army men were also not reluctant to fight against him. It was like they were fighting against his will.
But it was his will that they had to fight with Duryodhana, right? So it was his order. So that way that's fine, because he himself has asked his army to fight with Duryodhana instead of fighting with him.
Duryodhana doubted everyone to be biased of Pandavas. He didn't doubted the Narayani Sena that they will be biased with Kṛṣṇa, their own king.
He probably would have.
But like we see in Mahabharata that he has been chastising each person.
That's
Guru
true actually.
Dronacharya, Bhishma.
Exactly.
How would have he handled the Narayani Sena then? How would have he motivated them to fight for him against Kṛṣṇa?
This is the unfortunate situation, isn't it? Like even Kṛṣṇa personally went and he said that give just 5 villages to the 5 Pandavas, and then Duryodhana said I won't give a land worth tip of a needle to them. That was his arrogance, The level of his arrogance was unbelievable. Like that is unfortunately that is what is dushkriti, the sinful side, So that is Naradhama, the lowest among the mankind. It's unfortunate, So what can we do? That is the nature of this material world. There is different types of people, and one has to deal with different strokes for different folks. There is a saying in management. So that is what has to be done in the material world. Right? So depending on who the folk is, the stroke has to be applied.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Thanks.
Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we will sing the Narasimha Pranam Mantra. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Radha Daini, Radha Hiranyakashi Purvaksha, Hiranyakashi Purvaksha, Shilatanta Nathanaye, Shilatanta Hito Narsimho, Parato Narsimho, Hito Narsimho, Parato Narsimho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho, Bahir Narsimho, Hridaye Narsimho, Bahir Narsimho, Hridaye Narsimho, Narasimha Madin, Sharanam Tapade, Narasimha Madin, Sharanam Tapade, Avtara Kamala Vare, Natham, Adbhuta Shringa, Dalita Hiranyakashipo, Kanu Brinda, Keshavadrita, Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagdish Hare, Jaya Jagdish Hare, Jaya Jagdish Hare, Kavakara Kamala Hare, Adbhuta Shringa, Dalita Hiranyakashipo, Kanu Brinda, Keshavadrita, Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagdish Hare, Jaya Jagdish Hare, Jaya Jagdish Hare. Jaya Narasimha Dev
Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev.
Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya
Narahari Jaya Narahari.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya
Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad.
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. सिमरे भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु। कृष्णे मतिरस्तु। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.